Hello, it's James back with the community message. We're coming to you every day and trying to encourage you whilst you're in isolation or doing jobs you're not used to doing. So yesterday we looked back at the family story when we started in 1986 and Jan and Derek took our family into hospitality. We then looked back at the Peel story with Robert Peel I, who made all his money in cotton and industrialising the cotton process. And then finally we looked at an element of our food and wine vision, and we talked about Gran Cerdo, the great Rioja made from Tempranillo grapes, a wine we are very proud to serve that represents the real spirit of the natural wine movement. It's all about the fruit. It's all about it's all about representing the place and allowing the fruit to shine through. So we had a review of Gran Cerdo yesterday, and today we're going to build on that. But let me take you through three things today. So again, going back to the family story, I wanted to share with you how some of our passion around hospitality was born. Mum and Dad used to have a tradition that has left a lasting mark on my life. Every Sunday we would share Sunday lunch with our staff. After all the customers had gone, we laid a big long table, and sometimes there'd be up to 25 people around that table, and we would all share lunch together. Then we'd have a game, a rounders or football or something fun afterwards. And that was how I grew up. I grew up with that kind of spirited hospitality that took place around that table. It was generous, it was fun, and it's where I learned to love hospitality and love having people around our table. So I really am grateful for that tradition Mum and Dad passed down to us, and we want that spirit to be felt in the way we look after people around our table at Hampton Manor. It's a very exciting product that we have with a Michelin star, and some people see it as a very special experience, but we don't want to lose what hospitality is really about, which is about people connecting around the table. It's about that heart connection. It's about that time together around the table. Secondly, I wanted to move on and give you another little update about the Peel family. So after the first Peel, which was Robert the Peel I, there was Robert Peel II. With all the money that Robert Peel I made through the cotton industry, he was able to educate his kids to a very high level. And Robert Peel, I believe, was educated at Oxford in philosophy, politics and economics, which is the typical degree that a Prime Minister does. And he did go on to become the Prime Minister of England, most famous for founding the police force in London, the Metropolitan Police Force, the first ever formal police force in the United Kingdom. And then he went on to reform the Corn Laws, which he was quite controversial because it was very much a socially driven policy, and he was a Tory, so not always known for socially minded policies, but this was a real policy for the people. So the Peel family had a very strong history of social justice. So don't forget the Peels, don't forget the Robert Peel I, a strong industrialist making lots of cotton. Robert Peel II, a politician and a socially conscious politician at that. And then tomorrow I'll be talking to you about the third Peel, Frederick Peel, and we'll talk a little bit about how he built our house and what happened in our house, and you'll learn a little bit more about the Peel family. So finally, I wanted to come back to Gran Cerdo. So I wanted to talk to you about vessels today and how we make wine. So yesterday I talked about the fact that they decided that Gran Cerdo would not be a typical Rioja. Typical Rioja is made in a wooden barrel, and wood is obviously breathable. Wood absorbs things. So wooden barrels over the years take on flavour. They impart flavour. They impart the woody flavour. They impart the flavour of what might have been made in the barrel before. So wood is something that has a very strong influence on your winemaking. And a lot of natural winemakers that use wood choose to use older wood so that it's less likely to impart the oak flavours. It's less likely to influence or distract from the real flavour of the fruit that the growers have worked so hard to bring to harvest. So I want to talk about different types of vessels. Now, the guys that made Gran Cerdo decided instead of putting their Tempranillo grapes into wooden barrels, they wanted to put it into stainless steel. Now, you can make wine in all kinds of vessels. Once you've got your grape juice, you put it in, and you can put your grape juice in different ways into the barrels. You can do different ways of fermenting. But what's really important is what are you putting it in? Are you putting it in stainless steel? Are you putting it in wood? Some people have chosen concrete more recently, and they've made egg-shaped concrete vessels because they help the wine circulate inside, which helps the fermentation. Some people have chosen to use amphora, which are old clay pots. But every type of vessel is going to have a different influence on the wine, and that is one of the winemaker's important considerations. It's something in the winery that the winemaker has to make a choice about, and they will influence the wine. So stainless steel was the choice for Gran Cerdo because stainless steel doesn't impart anything, and it keeps it can keep the oxygen out, so it doesn't breathe too much, which can keep the fruit fresher. So there are different reasons for these choices, but just remember it's a really important tool in the hand of the winemaker, and winemakers that are true to their place, that want their fruit to express itself and to really come alive in the bottle, are going to look for vessels that aren't going to overly influence the wine itself. I hope that was helpful in helping you understand a little bit about the wine. And today, just to recap, you've learned about, as a family, how we shared many Sunday lunches along a long table. That was the inspiration behind the table in the restaurant and why we designed it. And hopefully, as we gather in our parties twice a year and the different Monday night dinners that Fiona and I host, you get a sense of our spirit as a family, that we want to invite you around our table and create hospitality that is that allows people to really connect, because that's what hospitality is about. And then finally, we talked about Gran Cerdo and how it's made in stainless steel to allow the Tempranillo fruit to really express itself. Until tomorrow, thank you.